From your home of the Winter Olympics, featuring 11 minutes of nonstop news, your Weather Authority forecast, and SWX Sports, this is KHQ Local News 11 at 11.
He put on a completely different mask for us.
When I first heard about it, I'm just like, that's not the same guy. It can't be.
Tonight, there's shock, concern, and a feeling of guilt through members of the theater community in Spokane about a recent lighting technician for the Spokane Children's Theater who was accused of raping a teenage girl in one of his plays. Good evening. I'm Claire Graham. We told you about this man, Galen Myers, last night. He's already serving time in Idaho for a child pornography case. But tonight he's in the Spokane County Jail, and just yesterday he pleaded not guilty to a slew of new charges tied to the rape of a girl in Spokane. But Tana Kelly is here now. Tana, you spoke with people tied to the situation who say they just wish someone had said something sooner.
Claire, after reading through those court documents, one thing is clear. There were several people in the theater community in Spokane who thought Galen Myers was too friendly to young actresses, but did nothing. December 7th, 2019, the Children's Theater in Spokane was showing the play 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. But as some children in the production were meeting the audience after a show, one says she was having the worst experience of her life. 14 at the time, prosecutors say she was stripped of her childhood in a car parked outside the theater by a man hired to do lighting for the play. That man was 25-year-old Galen Myers, who was 22 at the time.
It was a big surprise, especially when he was very involved into the community, let alone children's theater.
According to court documents, Myers asked the girl to carry things to his car, where he pushed her into the back seat, locked the doors, raped her, and threatened her, telling her, quote, it would be much worse next time, and no one would believe her. It wasn't until she saw Myers had been convicted and sentenced for a different sex crime that she came forward and told her parents. That same night, right after Myers left the Children's Theater, he was arrested by Coeur d'Alene police for child porn and injuring a 12-year-old girl a month earlier. But that wasn't the first time his interactions with children became criminal.
There was an assault happened on my friend.
She told us what had happened, how he had touched her inappropriately in the middle of the night.
In December 2018, a member of the theater who wanted to stay anonymous says Myers was accused of raping a 13-year-old girl he met at the same theater, but it's unclear why he was never charged. Several girls, several terrifying incidents, and more surprisingly, there were people who knew.
They messaged me on Instagram many years ago when it first happened, but it's like at that time, they did not want to believe my friend's story.
Many stayed quiet.
I'm sorry I didn't do anything back then, and I wish I did.
According to court documents, before the most recent incident in 2019, a parent did tell the managing director of the Children's Theater that Myers was being too friendly with some of the girls. But the court documents say since he was vital to the show, the director just asked him to stay in the lighting booth, away from the kids. Just another story of one man's status.
I believe it was almost purely because of status. I mean, sure, we had other people who knew how to work lights, but not as well as him. He built the system.
Burying years of potential abuse.
There are a lot of secrets in the theater world that they keep secret for a reason. They don't want bad things to happen. They don't want like all of the bad little things that are happening within the theater to come out. I mean, at the end of the day, the show must go on.
In Spokane, I'm Tana Kelly.
Tana, thank you. While the Spokane Children's Theater didn't want to talk about this, they did send us a copy of the email they've sent to the cast members from shows Myers worked on. That email reads in part, quote, SCT is committed to ensuring the safety of all cast members, and in particular the most vulnerable among us, our children. SCT has required every adult member to submit to and pass a background check. Unfortunately, that check did not flag anything for Mr. Myers as he had no prior criminal history.